Okay. Welcome to Yin 60 Minutes. Normally I spend a lot of time each week really planning out themes and messages and quotes and everything. And this week I decided not to. The theme of this week is no theme. I think that we all have enough going on inside and the world is heavy. There's so much going on, even with people's health, with our neighborhoods, with our community, with our country. I just think that there's so much going on. So instead, what we're going to do is go through a sequence, and there's just going to be some space for quiet, for reflection, and for you just to kind of be with yourself in a space that's safe and a place where hopefully you can find some peace. I will do some guided meditation. Obviously, it's not going to be a silent class, but there's no focus on, Hanuman or Shiva or anything like that. This week, I think, really is just about being present in the world that we're in the time that we're in. So I invite you to kind of just open up to the present moment and all of the things you're feeling, all of the emotions, the fears, the sadness, because it's all really valid. So not to let this be like a downer class, instead, what I'd like it to be is really empowering. I'd like you to be able to find your thoughts. I'd like you to be able to find your your own spirit, in a sense, your own being, and just sit with it. So with that being said, get comfortable. You can be seated, you can lay down, you can use props. I assume that by now you have all the props that you need, whether it's pillows, blankets, or blocks. But just let the physical body be comfortable. As the emotional body, the mind may be a little uncomfortable at the moment. Let's let the physical body get as comfortable as we can. And if you're dealing with some physical discomforts, try and ease those as much as you can. Using pillows, using comfort items, maybe soft blankets against the skin. Sometimes that sensation of softness or weight on the abdomen, on the shoulders, on the face even, can really bring comfort. So take some time finding that space. And then once you do, I invite you to close your eyes. And begin to look deep down, beyond the breath, beyond the physical body. And I'd like you to begin to notice what else is present, what's beneath the surface. What kind of emotions are you feeling? Welcoming any emotion. Not labeling it as good or bad. Perhaps it's anger or fear, sadness. It might be relief, happiness, gratitude. Give each emotion, each feeling, equal value, equal importance. They're all serving something here. And just give yourself a moment to be with the emotions that are present. Notice any thoughts, images, memories, perhaps video clips that you've seen this week beginning to run through your mind are maybe arising with these emotions that you're feeling, maybe experiences that you've had. If it feels triggering in any way, go ahead and bring yourself back out of it. If you've done iRest, you can find your inner resource. If iRest is unfamiliar to you, think of your favorite person, your favorite place, or your favorite memory. And allow yourself to kind of toggle back and forth between this understanding of what's really going on inside And then using feelings that you're bringing in of joy and comfort to help give yourself some safety. This time right now is setting up for the rest of the class for your mind to go where it needs to go, for you to process what you need to process. The rest will be physical, but you might notice that more emotions come up. And as they come up, I invite you to either observe them without judgment, without opinion, just notice them coming and going, or to sit with them, whichever you feel is right in the moment. And now let's begin to deepen the breath, beginning to soothe the nervous system. Breathing in through the nose, filling all the way up, the rib cage expands in all directions. And then part the lips and softly let the air escape. First, it'll be pretty passive. And at some point, you're going to need to be active here and use the abdominal muscles to use the diaphragm to release and to let all the air out. Maybe even use the abdominals to squeeze a bit, to squeeze the air out. So inhale, diaphragm comes down, air comes in. Part the lips, everything softens, passive. Now active exhale, get the rest out. Continue that. It's fragmenting the breath, so we're inhaling completely, and then we're exhaling in two parts. The first is passive, the second is active. So right now we have a 3-part breath. If you'd like to add in a 4th part, this can be really soothing for the nervous system, but if you're feeling kind of anxious right now, give it some time, okay? Be intuitive with this next part, but you can begin adding a pause after your complete exhale. So it'll look something like this. So that was the active part, and then a pause at the bottom. Letting everything be still enough that maybe you can feel pulse, air, and then intuitively breathing in when the body needs breath. Building trust with yourself to know exactly when you need to breathe, how long the breath should be. Beginning to cultivate a deep connection with the body. Noticing how this affects the emotional body as well. Letting whatever feelings are present be present. Finding yourself deeper and deeper into your practice, using these breaths, softening the body, softening the heart as well. Can you feel light in the heart space, compassion and gratitude? Inviting in love, or maybe there's sorrow and heartbreak, pain. Recognizing that the country, the world is hurting in many ways. Can we fill our hearts with love and breathe it out into the world? A few weeks ago, a theme was that ripple effect. Perhaps you bring it in now. Find the breathing pattern now that feels good for your body. can be the same one we've been doing or something else. Maybe just soft, natural breaths. And I'd like you to begin moving very gentle movements with that breath. So perhaps as you begin your inhale, that initiates some sort of movement in the body. If you're seated, maybe one shoulder goes up, then on the exhale, that shoulder goes down. Then the other side. If you're laying down, perhaps the ankles or the wrists begin to move, letting the breath initiate the movement. So the movement is kind of just following the breath, chasing it, like a shadow chases you. Can you feel almost like you're in water as you move? Not that you are moving water, that flowy movement, but can you imagine that you are in water moving? Perhaps a warm bath or spa, pool, hot tub, something soothing. And then let the movements get a little bit bigger. Noticing where you feel sensation. Perhaps you've been holding emotions, feelings somewhere inside the body. And as you begin to move gently, slowly, you can really feel those spaces. There's tightness, there's stickiness there. Using the breath and soft movement, can you begin to stir that around and let it dissipate? Good. If you're laying down, I'd like you to begin transitioning towards a seated position. If you're already seated, just let the movements get a little bit bigger. We're not creating heat. We're not using muscle tone here. It's all about moving the joints. Just helping us get ready to be still in a shape. Maybe rolling the shoulders. If you'd like to do some seated cat-cows, we can. This is your practice, so allow your body to move in the way it needs to move. And our first pose today is going to be caterpillar. So if you need to sit up on a bolster, block, or blanket, please go ahead. If you need to straighten the legs but have knees bent with some support under them, please do so. Again, always bringing the floor up to you. So perhaps something in front of you that you can use as a kickstand or support for the upper body. And I'd like you to notice right away the kind of sensation you're feeling. We don't normally go straight into a hamstring stretch. And because our hamstrings are probably not open right now, unless you just did a flow, where you're predominantly going to be feeling this is probably going to be starting back here, unless your hamstrings are very open. So I'd like you to do two things. I'd like you to start by letting the back really round. So pull the belly button to the spine. Let it be a spinal stretch first, stretching the entire back through the glutes. You might feel it into the hamstring connection. Let the chin tuck. Sit here for a moment or two. You can move through the feet. And decide if this is where you want to focus your energy, your efforts, your sensation in this pose, or if you'd like to find more in the hamstrings. If that's the case, come back up. And I'd like you to begin to nutate the sacrum. So a little anterior rotation of the pelvis. So we're kind of tipping our tail feathers up behind us. We're pouring our pelvis forward. And we keep a straight spine. So begin to pull the shoulder blades back and lean the heart forward, keeping a nice straight spine. The knees may need to bend a little more. And this is going to take more of the stretch now to the backs of the legs. A little bit of muscular effort is okay in the end. This is, depending on how you're using it, it's either the wood or the metal element. This is an example of the metal element. So decide how you'd like your caterpillar. And then once you decide, go ahead and stay there. If you need some movement, Make adjustments as you need to, but try to allow yourself space, time, and quiet. Again, just being with whatever's present, whether that's physical sensation, emotional awareness, just being present, giving yourself this hour to not worry about the other stuff, but to just be with the residual effects of it, the process, to prepare for another day in this unpredictable world that we're in, finding strength and hopefully a lot of encouragement and love. While we're all practicing in our homes separately, we're all in this together. Let's take some breaths together to really feel that connection, that Shakti, that energy that we would normally feel in a room together. I think we can cultivate that together by really mindfully breathing together and thinking about the other yogis practicing. So empty all of the air that you have now, and together, deep inhale and exhale. Sigh it out. Inhaling love. Exhale, send that love out. Feel connection. One more time, this time with a little smile on your face. Breathe in. Sigh it out, send the love in every direction. Welcome in gratitude for the community that we still have, even at a distance. Begin preparing to come out of your caterpillar shape. Might help to wiggle the toes, to bend and flex through the ankles, move through the wrists. You can do a slow roll up, or you can hinge up using the hands to press. And I'd like you to find a counter position. Sometimes after doing these forward folds, even if we don't think we're rounding, we are. So maybe hands behind you and really push into the ground, lift through the heart. You can also interlace the fingers behind the back or grab a shirt or a towel. If reverse prayer hands are something really accessible for you and you don't have any shoulder issues, you can try that. But let's just begin opening up through the heart space. Imagine you're in the sunlight and you're sort of basking in the sun. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Let's continue this heart opening by finding a supported fish or heart bench. You can use a blanket roll, towel roll, blocks, pillow, bolster, whatever you need. And you can choose whether you'd like it right up against the sacrum or to start between the shoulder blades, the lower tips. So go ahead and begin adjusting yourself now. So we're keeping the heart open, we've kept it open, And now we're just kind of encouraging that to really blossom and continue to stay open. Let the low rib cage open and spread apart. Let the hip bones descend downward. So our entire abdomen is open. And now soften it. We're so used to cinching in and holding everything tight. Be vulnerable. Let everything soften. The legs can be long. The knees can be bent, heels in line with the sit bones. Or perhaps you even find a reclined butterfly. If this feels very vulnerable for you and you're in sort of an emotional state, it can be really helpful to keep this position because it is really good for that. But cover yourself up. Even if you're alone, the weight across your lap is very comforting, or it can be to most people. You can even place the block on top of that, hands on the block. Think about kids, how they hold stuffed animals, they cling to them, squeeze them against their belly. It's in our human nature to have that pressure, that holding in, that cinching in, that really helps us feel safe. It's like wearing armor. Even our dogs like it, those thunder jackets that we'll put on them in storms. It's hardwired into us. Notice if you can tuck your shoulder blades beneath you just a bit more to let the outer edges of the collarbones become a little bit wider. Can the shoulders come away from the ears a bit more? Can the hips soften? Can the knees feel naturally heavy with no effort from you? No muscular exertion or effort, energy being expended, pushing them down, but instead just gravity and positioning. Allow yourself to feel vulnerable here, but safe. Letting the mind wander if you'd like it to. Or perhaps a gratitude meditation. You use each breath to focus on one thing that you're grateful for. Inhaling, I am grateful for, or I am thankful for. And on the exhale, saying whatever that is, either out loud or quietly in your mind. And it can be materialistic things, it can be big, heartfelt desire things. Using each breath to find something new that you're grateful for, that you are blessed with, that you're fortunate or lucky to have. Begin the process in the brain. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It'll set you up for a better day. Again, that's an option. You just need quiet and space. Take that. Notice if you're holding tension in the face. Relax and release the temples, the third eye, and the jaw. Notice where the breath would like to travel. In the nasal passageway, the mouth. halfway through this pose, notice the physical body. If there's any adjustments that you'd like to make, any movements that you need to spend the next few minutes again in stillness, you can reposition the lower body, the legs. You can change how high the support is behind your upper back. You can even move the hands. Bring awareness to the body and the breath by placing them on the abdomen or the chest. Perhaps somewhere where you can feel your pulse. Let that pulse that you feel, that heart beating, be its own meditation tool. Your heartbeat, like your breath, is the most present that you can be. How grateful can you feel for that heartbeat? The life that you have. Whether there's good things or bad things, we're alive. Not much longer in the shape. Can you begin to savor each moment in it? Notice the places of the body that you haven't noticed yet. Places that didn't get your interest because there's not obvious sensation. Can you find sensation in those places? Send the softness throughout the body. Begin to stretch the legs long now if they're not already. And on a nice deep inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And as you do, really reach, like you're reaching towards the ceiling, reaching behind you to keep a lot of space in the shoulder girdle. Allow the shoulders to lift up towards the ears. And breathe here. Reach the toes, maybe even begin to push down through the heels and lift the glutes, the buttocks away from whatever support you have. Feeling some tightness of the body, just to soften it all again. Hands down by the sides. Preparing to come out of this to a seated position. So begin thinking about what's a good way for you to do that. It's rolling over onto one side, if it's just pressing up. Just being careful with the body, noticing if you feel a rush of blood to the head or anything like that. Just moving slowly. We're now going to use whatever prop that you have, whatever support that you have, and we're going to begin to open up the sides of the body, okay? So begin to, we're going to sit, and you can sit on the left hip. So sit on the left hip. The knees can be stacked, the shins can be stacked, it can be just beautiful for a picture or not, okay? It doesn't matter. It's all about how you feel. That's the wonderful thing about yin yoga. It's why there's cutesy names. It doesn't matter how you look. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin to build up some support so that our natural waist, the place right between our hip bone and our low rib, that space right in the middle is going to be centered over our prop. So you can again use rolled up blankets, rolled up towels. You can kind of fold a pillow in half hot dog style, and that will work. And what we're going to do, and make sure you have another pillow or another block, another blanket, something else as a pillow. Okay, so we're sitting here, we're going to reach, kind of like lift up and then arch over like a rainbow. Let the left shoulder come forward so it comes down towards the ground. Adjust if you need to. Again, the knees don't have to be stacked. There's no rules there. Let them go how they want to go to protect the sacroiliac joint. And then you have a nice pillow for your head. If you would like to have your head towards the floor, you can. Just be aware of any overstretching of the right side of the neck all the way down through the shoulder. From here, you have two options. You have a few options. You can tuck your right hand into your right front pocket, pull the right shoulder back so there's opening. You can reach it behind into the back left pocket so there's even more opening. Or if it would feel good, you can inhale again, reaching up towards the ceiling as high as you can, up and over. Let the shoulder come towards the ear, and then tent the fingers, either coming to the ground or a prop. Really opening up the right side of the body, supporting the left side of the body completely. Notice if the feet need to adjust. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. If there's anywhere else that needs adjusting, go ahead and do that. What we're looking for is imagining your torso to be like a rainbow. When you're ready, you can let the eyes close, think about a rainbow. In most cultures, even in most religions, a rainbow represents hope. Can you welcome in a feeling of hope? With this being Pride Month, the rainbow represents so many other things as well. So again, perhaps you use this time to send out love and support, kindness, and hope for peace and for better. The world deserves better. You notice at any time that you have your arm over your head and it starts to feel, I don't know, like you've got some caution lights, there's more awareness being sent to that shoulder. That's a good indication that you should bring the shoulder back down and maybe place that hand onto the right hip, maybe even in front of you onto your support. And then just soften that right shoulder down. The body often whispers to us before it yells, before it's hurt. So in the space, in the stillness and the quiet of your practice, listen to the whispers and then respond. Begin to wiggle the toes, drum the fingers, move through the eyeballs, tongue. Maybe even release your eardrums a couple times so you hear that little pop, tympanic membrane. Big inhale and a big exhale. Getting ready to come up out of the shape. Notice right away what the body's asking for. Maybe a twist. Maybe if you take Mimi's class and she does those mermaid legs, maybe a side stretch to the other side. And then as you feel ready, as you get that counter movement, those counter stretches kind of out of the way and taken care of, we're going to go straight into the other side. So again, now we're sitting on the right hip. We're bringing that support so that it can be centered where our natural waist is, bringing our pillow, our support of some sort on the other side as a pillow. We begin to lay down so that the left side of the body can begin to arch open. The right shoulder comes down towards the floor. If it doesn't touch the floor or touch the bed, wherever you're on, you can bring blankets or pillows beneath it as well. And then give the head some support. We want a nice neutral neck. So try to think about the shoulders being open and then the head looking straight forward. We're not trying to have a turn or kink in the neck at all. And then this is where you can begin to decide what you'd like to do with your left hand. Tuck it in the front pocket, back pocket, maybe arch, reach all the way up and over. Again, looking for any hesitation of the body, making sure you get a full body yes in whichever you choose, knowing that even if you choose something, you're never stuck there. You can come right out of it at any time. And now just allow the body to melt around the props as if you're taking their shape. Another image that can be kind of fun to imagine as we soften around our props is think about watching, I'm sure we've all seen either, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or some sort of footage on Food Network of candy being made. And the things that are chocolate covered as they move along the conveyor belt, and that stream of chocolate is just poured across maybe a caramel, like a ribbon of just warm chocolate being draped over this little piece of candy. It just kind of covers it perfectly, takes its shape, gives it full coverage. You can imagine that. The prop is that little bit of caramel. Your body is what's draping over it, taking its shape, taking its form. Maybe after class, we all need to go have a piece of chocolate. Again, letting the mind go where it wants to go, where it needs to go, but being aware of it. Observing it. Noticing anything that you're becoming aware of. Not for judgment, but think of it more as you're learning about yourself. Just taking notes. Only a few more breaths here, so try to make them last. Slow breath in, slow breath out. Perhaps pause at the bottom. Doing several times. Beginning to wiggle your toes, drumming your fingers, moving what you can move, preparing to come up out of the shape. And again, coming straight into whatever counter movement, counter stretch the body asks. For me, it's an immediate twist. And then again, one of those mermaid side bends. For you, it might be something very different. Please honor that. What a gift it is to be so in tune with your body that you know exactly what you need. We don't always have that. It takes practice. It takes awareness to build that. So if you have that, if your body's asking for something right now, let that spark some happiness, some joy that you're there. You know, you have that awareness. We are going to begin to make our way back onto our backs now. So any way that works well for you, laying all the way back. And once you get there, you are definitely welcome to hug the knees into the chest and take some movement. You can do one leg at a time. You can lay in pentacle pose with arms and legs stretched out, sort of like a star, just taking up space. Giving yourself a little bit of time to acclimate, getting back onto the back. Might feel good to move through the hips, do some hip circles. We've done no hips in this class today, so this is really your opportunity. If you'd like to find a happy baby, you can take a happy baby, or maybe even press the soles of the feet together, reach towards what you can reach and let the knees fall wide. This is sort of a supported down ankle or butterfly, but using a wood element. So the wood element is actually the hands holding on to the shins or the ankles and creating that tension, that pull that you feel both towards the wrists and in the shoulders. You might even feel it in the hips a little bit if you let the knees get heavier. Deep breaths, slow breaths. And bring the knees back together, plant the feet down, scoot the hips slightly to the right, and drop the knees towards the left, allowing the abdomen to begin to twist and wring out like a towel. Noticing if that shoulder wants to lift up. If it does, let it. Or if the shoulders are planted, notice if the right knee wants to slide back a bit. If that's the case, let it. Choosing where you really want the focus to be in the stretch. If we want to feel it more towards the hip, more towards the side body, down towards that right hip, or more up in the upper body, the shoulders or the rib cage. Arms can be in a T or goalpost arms, cactus arms. Gaze can be up or towards the right. Here for just a couple of minutes. Let this twist be like wringing out dirty water from a towel. Get rid of the bad, the negative. Let it be cleansing. Sakcha. You know, in some Ayurvedic practices, One way they practice that is to swallow a bit of cloth, and they fast and they allow the cloth to pass through them, and that's what kind of scrubs or cleans their digestive tract, which, you know, people do. But I think that twists also stimulate the organs, not just I think, it's known that twists stimulate the digestive system, massage the organs, and kind of get things going. So I'm going to stick to my twist for now before I start swallowing fabric. Just a lighter note. And come back up through center. And windshield wiper through the shins. You can even push into the floor and find a bridge, squeezing the glutes. Again, finding some action for the back body. Rolling down. Movements that you need to take in the way that you need to take them. Before we plant the feet down, scoot the hips a little to the left and then drop the knees to the right, finding our twist on the other side. And then just breathing. What a gift it is to breathe. Just like the pulse that we found gratitude for, our breath, our prana, it's a gift. Even when we are heartbroken and hurting, we have our breath, our lifelong companion. Now, tip the knees back up, plant the feet, and find your movement swaying the knees from side to side, very slowly. If you need, you can even let the knees rest at one side for a few breaths, and then come back and rest at the other side. Again, taking any counter poses, counter movements that would feel good for you as we begin to prepare for our Shavasana. So using props, using support, getting as comfortable as you can physically, knowing that as we find physical comfort, emotional comfort can follow. So I would suggest some support under the upper body and the head. Let the chin be slightly lower than the forehead. Some support under the knees. And some sort of weight or blanket, something over the chest, the belly, the pelvis. Take your time getting settled. There's no rush. When you get there, when you get settled, let the eyes close. Again, find a deep connection with the breath and with the self. No expectations, no duties. Just you gifting yourself with an opportunity to be who you are, where you are. No one to answer to, nothing to live up to. Only peace and only love. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Allow yourself to stay how you are. Taking this time to meditate in a very comfortable position, laying down. If you prefer to sit up for your meditation, you're welcome to do so. But we are going to take a few minutes of quiet, reflective meditation. I'd like you to notice behind your closed eyes, there's a color present. If there is no color present, what is present? What do you see? Little particles, shapes, or patterns. You should take a big inhale. Is there any change to that? What about your exhale? Moving from the space of the third eye down to the heart. And breathing in, breathing out. Now, hands over the belly. Breathing in, breathing out. If you're seated, Hands to the legs. If you're laying down, hands by the sides. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling, I breathe in. Exhaling, I breathe out. Finding gratitude and love and hope with your breaths in. Releasing fear, sadness, shame with your breath out. As much as you can. Two more deep inhales and exhales. And find the softness of the face and a fluidness of the body. If you are laying down, you're welcome to come to a seated position as we end class, as we end our practice together. If you're already seated, like before, you can begin moving. Maybe circular movements would feel really good. Maybe side to side. Twists. Inviting in energy into the body. Feel free to blink the eyes open. Take in light. Take in whatever's around you. Roll through the shoulders. Invite in a fresh energy, a fresh perspective. Perhaps fresh outlook. Hopefully that gave time for you to find a seated position if you were laying down. And all together, I'd like us again to find community, to find connection, because it's what the world, it's what we so desperately need. So bring hands together in front of the heart. And now let's make a lotus seed. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our hands together. We're going to keep everything pressing, but we're going to pull our palms apart from one another. So it looks like Anjali Mudra, except for we have space between the palms, and then place that in front of the heart. And what this represents is hope. Lotus seed represents the possibilities for fresh, new, better life. Lotuses, they grow in the mud and they reach and they climb towards the sun. So no mud, no lotus. I think right now we're in the mud. So let's have our lotus seed. Let's have it ready. Let's cultivate it and grow it towards hope and love. Community. Let's take a exhale together, empty our air. Deep breath in. Feel connection and breathe out. Send your love to everyone. One more, breathe in. And breathe out, radiating love. Maybe a smile. Thank you so much for letting me be part of your practice, part of your life. I am so grateful that you are here, not just in this class, not just practicing, but here on planet Earth. You're a gift. We all are. Everyone is. So with that, I wish you peace and love. Om Shanti. Okay.